Audio Dreamland Chris. Let me copy that so I don't have to retype it. Um, anyway, let me go back to my live. Doug Stockton live. All right, Chris, why don't you tell us about. Oops, wrong button. Why don't you tell us about how how you did in the season, getting your points and all that stuff.
Actually had a really good season again. Of course, as you all know, they kind of gave us bonus points this year if you went to finals and qualified and all that. So I think it was
Yep.
what 50 bonus points. So actually cut down on the amount of shows I had to go to, which was good for me, saved me a little money. But I do like to go to shows, especially as it gets closer to finals, just to get the practice in.
Hmm.
Competing against other guys. And as you all know, the our group of Tennessee base racers, there's no better competition than what I've got right here
Eh.
in my backyard.
Hey, you guys are
Oh
okay.
no.
So no, but no, the year went really well, and I didn't win every time I went to a show, but that's I still always say that anybody can get beat no matter what. I don't care how
Hmm.
good you
Hmm.
are.
Even the
So
boss can get beat, I hear.
even the boss can get beat. You're exactly right. So that has been proven. Uh, but no, excellent year again. I've been really blessed the last several years. And competition, has always been great. Of course, we had, some rule changes for this year as well.
Ah, those were
Uh,
horrible.
I, well, that's we can talk about that if you want to, but uh, either way, whatever they decide they want to do, if they want to make changes for this year, more power to you. Uh, we'll just we'll make our own changes and make it work.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what were your thoughts on the rule changes this year?
When I thought the way it should have been done was they should have kept the boom check tracks. Of course, the big argument was well they don't cover the right frequencies. Well, I think they should have kept the boom check tracks, but added some more tracks that had different frequencies in it for those guys that needed to use that. Versus basically just going to something that almost just has a constant tone or bass note to it.
Hmm.
Uh huh.
I mean, of course, I understand the argument. Hey, let's try to make the changes to get more competitors, in the field and come out. And you go to finals in Alabama, and we actually had fewer competitors in 29.9. I think the only thing additional we saw this year was there was just a couple more competitors to go against Jimbo in 59.9.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
higher
But really,
classes.
really that other than that, that was it. We had five people compete in 29.9 in Alabama, and that's been the fewest the last 3 years. So
Yeah,
Really?
and I,
yeah,
I'm not really too sure. I'd like to see the side by side, statistics. How many people actually did, do, or how many more people in base race did now that the song, listing is
yeah.
different. So, but that's interesting. I never really heard it. Well, I knew there was more competition in like the higher classes, but yeah, I didn't know there was almost like a drop, right? In like the like 20s.
Yeah, well, and Jeffrey, it was like Christian and Hanson, Eric. They weren't there this year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's two top competitors in 29.9 that weren't even there this year.
Hmm.
So and I
Hmm.
was I was really surprised about that. When they put the list out for the finals
Yeah.
competitors, and I'm like, hey, where are these guys at? I'm like, with you leaving, did that just
Yeah.
shut down that whole area right there? But I was disappointed to see that because, and of course, Eric was actually in Alabama. I was glad to see him, but I would have really
Hmm.
liked to see both those guys back in the lanes because it's always fun competition.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think that's probably what did that area in was the lack of shows, but um, I don't think it really changed. Like I know they were still kind of practicing. I think there might have been like a show or two out, like South Texas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't really see or hear about them, testing out different songs. But
Oh, did you
Uh,
catch that feedback?
I was glad to see that even though they added the big pimping tracks, I
Hmm.
was glad to see that Wayne also put the rule in there of going to the hundreds. So,
Okay.
True.
that literally takes away from going multiple rounds, even though you've got an easier track to play. When you start getting to the hundreds on eliminations, that's a difficult time to get past that and have tiebreakers in the hundreds
Oh
spot.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Did you get to the hundreds?
yes, I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Me and pretty sure, I think me and Keegan did.
Hmm.
And then I know in the third in the semifinals, I went to the hundreds, but I don't think I did in the final in the championship round. I don't believe we did. We got to
Mm.
the round right before that. So, but but you did hear about a few people that actually would go to the hundreds, throughout the year,
Hmm.
and would do tiebreakers. Me and Dustin Wright actually did that at one show this year. We got to the hundreds and actually tied, which I thought was incredible.
Wow.
Well, at World Finals, I think somebody tied twice at the hundreds.
Yeah,
I think it might have been Keegan even.
that's crazy to even think about that spot. But
Yeah.
anything is possible. But that's
Yeah.
really hard to do.
Yeah. So when Wayne started using the hundreds, one of his initial thoughts was, "Hey, we're just going to leave the hundreds up there um, during their round, but it's only going to count to the tenths." And I go, Wayne, that makes it so much easier. We don't want to do that
No, yeah,
because
you're
yeah, because
giving
if
way
you
too
can,
much information there.
yeah, if you can see that you're at 9 or 9.98 versus 9.91, those are two completely different numbers. You know,
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
so yeah, so we talked them into keep getting rid of the hundreds at least in the head to head
Hmm.
until we get to the tiebreaker rounds.
And
And
you
I
see,
do think that was a good addition too.
yeah, because you see some of these guys, they'll ride a nine for seems like almost the whole 30 seconds. They're sitting there on a nine. And I'm like, man, I'm just sitting there shaking my head. I was like, that's way too too
Yeah,
risky for me.
yeah. I think I rode the nine for like I don't know 9-10 seconds with you when I was doing
Yeah,
beat the boss against you, and obviously I didn't know the system, so I didn't know really where it sat in that 9.9 something range, And apparently in the last second or so, it was in the oh yeah, yours was the one where I was right there, and then I busted out right before time expired.
yep,
And
yep.
then the next one I wasn't even close because Sam Dunn set me up for failure.
Oh no.
So I'm not gonna
No,
let him live that down.
no, I know you won't. Yeah, it's hard to get in just a random car and
Yeah,
go up there and be competitive. I mean, that's not an easy job to do.
nah, it is what it is. But you know what? It's fun to do. Didn't you bring me over a $10 bill to sign or something like that?
Yeah, I actually made sure I brought it.
Oh, there it is.
Got a autograph on that one too. I'll keep that for a while. That'll be something I can put up for auction one day and retire on.
That's hilarious. Um, But yeah, no, that's I like I said, you did a great job. I will tell you, the Tennessee base race folk when they came to World Finals, they were locked in. When they got down, sat down in the lanes, and were ready to go, they were noticeably locked in,
Yeah,
and that was a very noticeable and decisive thing that they were doing that I don't necessarily see everywhere. I do see people get focused and whatnot, but I will tell you they were locked in a different way. So,
yeah.
um,
And I do think that comes down to, our group um, being as competitive as we are, and because I mean, when we have a show around here, I mean, it's the same group of guys,
right.
group of guys and gals, both. But and so that makes a big difference because when you go to a show. it's not going to be an easy win. You're going to have to
No.
earn it just like you would at finals, and that's a big
Yep.
deal.
Yeah. One of the old things Brian Nyman used to do, he would have the same vehicle and he would compete. This is when we first started base race. He would compete in the 29.9, 39.9, and
Right.
49.9 class with the same vehicle. And that's not easy to do either.
No, yeah, you got to be. Yeah, now the old setup in my car I had the last 2 years, I could have probably done that, but the one I got in there now, that's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
No,
It peaks at like 138 or something.
it'll do a 41 is about as
Yeah.
loud as it's going to go. So yeah,
Yeah. So 39,
Hmm.
there's not enough headroom to do 39.9 class. You could probably do it, but everything has to work really well for that to happen.
yeah, and if you want to go on multiple rounds, like I know
Yeah.
you will, that's not going to work out.
Right. 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 And it's really nice for you what you guys do from Tennessee Base Racers. Uh, get out of your vehicle, sit down, turn your car off. Then it's never a
Yeah,
question, right?
that,
Exactly.
yeah.
From the start.
Yep.
And
From the start.
you've got to do that. I mean, it's just got to be set up that way
Hmm.
because if you're not, you're already setting yourself up at a disadvantage.
You are after the first tie, you got to turn it off, and then a lot of vehicles when you turn them off, you have to reset the stereo, and that's such a disadvantage.
Yeah,
So
no, but
I don't
Yeah.
disagree with that. I don't. I understand the purpose of turning your car off when we first started base race, and that had a lot to do with the a battery was a limiting factor in a vehicle.
yes,
Um, Nowadays, batteries aren't necessarily the limiting factor because of lithium and stuff like that. So,
yeah, it's kind of the same thing that they did on Pro Stock. It used to be
yeah,
Pro Stock was limited to what 15 volts,
yeah,
and then they changed that I think last year to 16, and that's literally unless you're just running a ton of power. But even if you're running a ton of power, most of these guys with the C-Max banks and stuff they've got, lithium banks they've got,
yeah.
the voltage is kind of that's just not a factor anymore.
Nope. And Wayne even kind of makes this joke every year when the judges sit down and we do our meeting and we talk about upcoming rules. Um, my number one rule change every year is get rid of voltage limits.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
just dumb, right?
like, well, I can guarantee you, Kenneth Trauber will agree with that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's the guy with what was he,
Yes.
point zero 0.01
Yes. Point zero
average,
five
something
or
like
with
that?
point zero 0.07. Um,
Wow.
it was less than point 0.1. Um, but yeah, I believe in the power classes especially. Why do we have voltage limits? It's voltage times amperage gives you power. If you're over
Yeah.
volt, you're gonna overpower.
Yeah, the
But
only way in base race I can see that now, the 49.9, 59.9 class,
hmm
you go multiple rounds, yeah, I can see that.
Oh
But
yeah.
most of those guys that run that class, they're set up to do pretty much whatever they need to anyway.
yeah, they're all day ground pounders, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
especially like Jimbo. I have no idea how long that guy could probably just park his car for the day and run his stereo. Um, but that is one of the impressive base racers in the world. You know. So
Oh yeah.
by the way, speaking of which, I did get a text from Ray Choi, and
Oh,
as of last week, 100%. His kid Jimbo's all good again. So it's taken him till like 2 weeks ago to get
dang.
there, though.
Yeah, that's scary. But good thing he's
Yeah.
good to go.
Oh, here Wally Johnson says 159.9 base race, 172 plus DB drag, 5 minute death match with no alternator, little 95 amp hour C max, handling it like a champ. Donnie Keller right there says, "What's up?"
Oh yeah, okay. What's up,
So,
Donnie?
yeah. Wonder, I'm seeing it here, but it's not popping up on our. Oh, there they go. Now they're starting to populate. Okay, cool. Um, but yeah, that's true statement, Wally. Right? I mean, the C-Max is one of the most used brands. I think it's accessibility, right? The availability of the C-Max stuff. There's other brands out there that you can get the cells and whatnot. It's just I think it's everybody knows it and it's easy to get.
Well, I've got a story. I've got a story about C-Max.
All right, let's hear it.
So when I first built my car, when I first got it,
Mhm.
I had a 45 amp hour C-Max
Hmm.
pack in it. I hadn't had my car 3 months. Had just started working on it. Had it parked in the garage one day. Wouldn't even test it. Walked in the garage. Inside the car is filled with smoke. One of the cells vented on it. And you're talking
Oh,
about a scary feeling because I literally thought my car was fixing to catch on fire and burn to the ground.
yep.
So luckily, it was an outside sale that vented, but that was my last time dealing with C-Max. It was gone after that, and I've been with Titans ever since.
Helps that currently vehicle does 159.9 on like 1100 watts. Yeah, that's kind of helpful too. That makes it way easier.
You
When's
know,
the
my
show? When's the show coming to Fort Worth? Donnie wants to know. Donnie, Jeff, and I were talking about that before the show. I'm right here in Fort Worth. I'm actually in Hazlet, right next to Justin. I'm less than 10 minutes from the Crossfire shop, and they may be coming soon.
Yeah.
Um, I, I'm
Well,
I need to get
Donnie's
back
a
doing it.
local there.
Yep.
He could probably show you around. I know he's in the car show scene. He's got several cars that he goes to shows with. So
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Yep. You got to understand though. There's like some super high level bowling here. Oh, speaking of bowling, Caleb. Uh,
Oh yeah, I think I saw a video.
he did a
yeah,
300 game. I think
yeah,
I saw here a while back.
yeah. I shot a 300 game on when was that? I just shot one. Uh, he shot his November 28th, and think I shot mine November 25th or something like that. So we shot them almost the same day. Here, I'm gonna look up mine. So I shot my fifth 300. Oh, here we go. November 22nd, I shot my 300, and then he shot his on the 27th.
Hmm.
So yeah, so we were texting about that. So that's cool. Congratulations to him on shooting his 300. So the thing is here is the bowlers in this area are like Hall of Fame bowlers, and so in baseball you bring in the lefty. So there happens to be a young feller here. He's 19 years old. The average pro, so like your average professional bowler, might win 3 to 5 PBA regional events in their lifetime. Last year, this kid won 6 at 19 years old.
Prodigy.
And he has one national title, the big boy on TV. He's been on TV like 4 times, and he's won
Hmm.
one of them. So he's a big boy. And so I'm bowling this scratch event, which means it's just heads up, you against somebody. And the last 3 weeks in a row, they called in this 19-year-old kid to go against me, and the guy just happened to be sick that I was going against for 3 weeks in a row, 3 different people.
Oh yeah, of
So,
course he was. Yeah.
so, so they bring in the lefty. So they bring in the big guns, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm not afraid to bowl the guy, but he kicked my ass. So,
Wow.
I mean, I will say I am a better than average bowler, but there's a considerable difference in the way the two of us bowl. So, and I'm in the Fort Worth area, and I have that opportunity with a bunch of people. Alan Riley's actually a really good bowler, which you remember Alan, don't you? You were around when Alan was doing the thing, right? Chris?
Me or
You, Chris. I know Jeffrey was,
Hmm.
how
but
long ago was that?
actually, I think in 2003, he did. I think they were the loudest super streetcar. Him and his brother.
Yeah, I was around then. I'm trying to remember what the
Yeah,
vehicle was.
the
Art
Rileys
Sounds, I think, is what it was.
art sound chamber.
Yeah.
They had
Oh
the
yeah, okay.
Old Chevy van. I think it had
Yep.
flames
Yeah,
all over it.
Yep.
yep. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Alan, I hooked up through him out here. He's a really good bowler, and he bowls with two PBA Hall of Famers and freaking, you know, another national champion. So the bowling's really good. So it's hard to draw my attention away from bowling. But Jeffrey and I were talking about this before the show. We're
Hmm.
definitely going to have to get something up there, up here locally. Um,
Yeah, weren't
I
you wanting to do a weekly show?
I was
That's crazy.
like a Wednesday night or something,
Hmm.
just to kind of kind of really kind of modeled after what the Tennessee base racers do. More of it,
Ah.
it's just a get together, like a bowling league, right? You get together and it's just an opportunity to practice. And hey, let's make it a show, right?
I
Um,
will.
Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
and if we have a place to do it, it'd be kind of cool to do on Wednesday nights. You know, just hey, we all know we're going to get together on Wednesday night. We're going to go hang out for 3 hours, and that's it. Because Jeffrey, I can run a show in 3 hours.
I was gonna, I was thinking maybe 3 hours, maybe if you just did base race and
Ah,
top dog, but
Now, is
you
that
were.
California time or is that Texas time?
so I do have a question for you, Chris. Did it feel like I was rushing World Finals?
I don't believe so. No, I mean,
Okay.
of course, this year, of course, I completely changed the whole car for this year, and so the only thing I did was base race. I didn't do pro
Hmm.
stock class this year, so my thing was I was hurry up and wait because base race was one of
At
the
the
last
end.
things at the very end. So,
Yep.
of course, I was good with that because one of the things that I was trying to do this year was actually sit back, relax, try
Hmm.
to enjoy finals and help my guys that needed help or whatever. But that was my plan was to step
Did
back a little bit and have some fun.
did
Hmm,
your plan work out?
My plan worked out. Yes, it did.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So
No, that's awesome. So did you end up in Top Dog too?
no, I don't run top dog.
You don't run Top Dog at all. Now, okay,
No.
so why don't you do Top Dog too?
So and I've actually I haven't practiced with the new set, but I did practice some last year doing it. But
Hmm.
my philosophy has always been to do one thing and do it well versus trying to spread yourself over doing several different classes.
Okay.
So that's always been my philosophy, and I kind of stick to it. And I wouldn't mind to do it throughout the year. But of course, one of the things that you're talking about schedule and stuff, usually Top Dog is the last thing that's run at a
True.
show.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And when it gets to be 8, 9 o'clock at night and you've got a 2 hour drive back home, I'll probably just take my time and head back home.
Is that
Hmm.
how far you're away from the other Chris?
Usually, our shows are going to be probably the closest show that I've got. Typically, is going to be Nashville, which is about an hour away.
Okay,
Um,
that's not
so,
too bad.
which isn't bad.
Mm.
But we just don't have most of the shows are down in Tennessee. We just don't have a whole lot of shows here in Kentucky. They'll do some in Ashland City, which is about an hour and a half away. I know Chris is trying to, I believe, work with Pop Tart on getting some shows scheduled for both orgs for
Okay.
drag and for Pop Tart's org to kind of work together and
Yeah.
do, that way it gives the competitors a chance to get two orgs in one location. And so there's plenty of opportunity for me to get points that aren't too far away. I don't mind driving down there, um, but no, that's the main reason. I just I like doing base race, and I don't mind to dabble a little bit in top dog. You know
No.
don't know if I'd be competitive in it or not, but I'm sure I can get that way if I need
Oh
to.
yeah, you can. It's so similar to base race. The only thing you got to really remember is it's not over when the time's over, right?
No, no. And there's a lot of
Keeps going.
variables. There's a lot of variables because when I was dealing with it a little bit last year, it's not like base race. There's other variables that come into play.
Hmm.
You get into fourth and fifth round and how your points are accumulated, and
Yep.
you know, Winston did a very good job this year, especially toward the end of the season, because
Yeah.
he really got all that figured out, and it showed because he wound up winning the championship.
Yep. Somebody was talking in his ear, and I don't remember who it was. He's like, "I know. Just leave me alone. Let me do it."
Wow.
He was so locked in, and and the people that he was it might have even been his stepdad or whatever, but the thing was he was so locked in that he didn't want to be distracted by anybody for any reason.
Yep.
And not that he was being mean, but he was trying to stay focused. And you know what, an opportunity was missed. uh, Nobody that we've found so far. Oh, there's Christian Jensen. How's it going, Christian? He was one of the first Cyclone world champions,
Okay.
um, out of California there. But you know, he was just so focused and locked. He just didn't want to be distracted from anything.
No,
And
I know that feeling.
but oh, that's what I was saying. The opportunity missed of not videotaping his reaction when he won. Dude, did you get to see it?
I didn't get to see it. I was actually it
Oh,
was kind of funny because I was wanting to watch the Top Dog, and then I had a spectator. Somebody was there that was asking me questions about my car and wanted to look at it. So I was talking to him during that time. So no, unfortunately, I missed it.
oh, yeah. Like Jeffrey and I have discussed it's those moments like that that keep us judging.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
it's you know not necessarily him because he's not in what I'd say my area, right? Um, but if I were just to stop judging the area where I live, literally, I the young people or the new people just lose the opportunity ever to win a ring because there's no shows around for them.
yeah.
And seeing Winston, the emotions on his face, and you know not only him but his mom and his dad, and it just, dude, it was, and they just covered him in love, and
Well,
it was a
Winston
great thing.
Winston had the last half of this year
Hmm.
was a little difficult for Winston. So,
Yep.
and those kind of wins mean a lot to somebody, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
something that he won't ever forget.
No.
And I was super stoked to see him actually to take that home because I know it's deserved and it means a lot to him.
Oh yeah. He brought it out on the show last 2 weeks ago when he was on,
Yeah.
and so when he does his bell ringing in a year, we're gonna have him
Yeah.
back on for that.
Oh yeah.
That Dude, that's an accomplishment that needs to be shared with as many people as you possibly can, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
agree 100%.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
So when it comes time for his bell ring and we'll have him back on, we'll talk about that and so yeah, so like you said, for him it was super emotional. What ring number is this for you?
So base race, this was number 4 for me.
There you go.
So
Are you trying to get one on all the fingers like Gary Killian did, or what? Bam.
so this is 4 years in a row, which, like I said earlier, I've been super blessed, and of course, after I won, and of course, people are talking behind me. Is like, you're going to quit, and then people's like, no, you got to be like Jordan and get six, and
Yeah, yeah.
so I'm like, well, we'll see how things work out. But I'm not going away. I enjoy base race. It's one of the things that I've enjoyed probably more than anything the last several years. And unless just something major happens, I don't see me going away anytime soon.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing about base race is you could literally build your car once and that's it, right? You don't
Yeah,
have to change it, and you can still be world competitive. You
yeah.
know.
And
Um,
I didn't, like I said, I was talking about. Wally was talking about how efficient, his terror was on
Uh,
59.9. Last year with my setup, I could do 29.9 with 25 watts. And with the setup I've got now, it takes about 250. So completely different scenarios on how the car was set up. And that was a concern of mine going into this year is would the car still work, at least relatively the same as it did in the past. And it was enough that I could work with it once I got some practice in on it and tweaked a few things. I was able to make it work and not have any issues. But
Hmm.
it was a challenge in the beginning, but that's the good thing about base race. You can literally build just about anything and fall into a class and with some practice and time be competitive.
Hmm.
yep.
I didn't realize it was oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Christian post in there. Yeah, he was a one and
Ah.
done. So go ahead, Jeffrey.
Oh, I didn't realize it was a different setup. It
Yeah.
was still the same vehicle?
Yeah, still got the same vehicle, but so after finals last year, after winning Trunk 5K
Yeah.
and base race, I decided I was done chasing numbers.
Hmm.
So I basically got out of SPL and redid the whole car has been completely redone, and I built it for me. So it's something. So it's a the car's got 810s in it now, which is basically
Oh.
an IV setup is what it is. Um,
Hmm.
so
Clamshell.
Infinite
clamshell,
baffle.
Okay.
yeah, infinite baffle, clamshell design, and because I wanted to have something that I could drive the car, listen to music, and enjoy it.
Okay.
So I've been chasing
Oh,
numbers for
interesting.
a long time, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I want to be able to drive the car, listen to music, enjoy it, and so that's what happened after finals last year.
So
Uh,
you don't have that 10-inch port in the trunk anymore?
No, all that's gone. Every bit of that's gone. So
Yeah, I noticed when I was looking at the results, I didn't see your name in like trunk class and you know but that's good to hear that you're sticking with base race and just playing that. So
yeah, we had I don't know if y'all remember or not, but Mike Jones, who of course we did a benefit for a couple of years
yeah.
ago, had the
Uh-huh.
the lung transplant. Um, he came back this year and actually ran
Right.
drag for the first time in Trunk 5K, and so really was wanting to be there to support him and help him in
Hmm.
his venture to try to win a championship this year. So him and Brandon Montgomery went head to head in finals this year.
Hmm.
yeah. Um, so have you? So I think it was Joseph from Earthquake on here that we were talking about IB setups. Have you? Did you tune your IB? Putting nickels on your subs or all that stuff, or
Now, of course,
just kind
I
of
had
built it?
yes, which I've always been a fan of free air. I mean,
Uh huh.
that's it's back when I was doing SQ back in the 90s, I actually had a small free air setup in the car back then and loved how it sounded. Of course, you don't lose any room. And
Right.
when I built this, originally I built the car, I had 410s and sealed enclosure, but the enclosure took up the whole trunk.
Right.
And so I wanted a way that I could present the trunk and show it as well. And I was like, you know what, a free air design with an IV setup. Um, I think I can put four more tens in there and make it work and be able to present the whole car itself. And so it was one of those things that I built it and basically turned it on, see how it sounded, and it actually turned out really well and finished it out from there. So no, there wasn't any scientific method or anything like that to it. It was let's build this and see how it works out. And fortunately enough, everything worked out pretty good.
So what was your peak in your vehicle with the wall or whatever it was before versus now with the infinite baffle?
So when I had the two 15s in there doing SPL, basically burping 51, 52 hertz.
Okay.
Um, and then now with the 810s in there, I'm peaking at about 47, 48 hertz.
Okay.
So
And
it actually with the 810s and the free air setup actually is tuned a little lower than the 410s I had in the sealed enclosure.
okay. So I was going to ask you, have you tried a sealed enclosure for base race, and was there any advantage of that versus, say, the
No,
ported or the infinite baffle?
that was one of the big questions that a lot of people had is like, hey, your system, your SPL setup versus because I had the 410s in the sealed enclosure. We took it to Triple Fest this year, um, and that was the question. What's the difference in the car between the SPL setup with the 15s and the 410 sealed, and now the 810s in the free air? And you know what? The the SPL setup was probably a little bit smoother just because I could tune the port on it.
Oh, okay.
Probably the biggest difference. But once you get your frequency dialed in, there wasn't a lot of difference between all three setups on how it reacted in the car.
Okay. Yeah. So on a graph standpoint, you look at a sealed box, and it's just so smooth and consistent
Yeah,
versus a ported box or whatever. So I would. That's why I've always thought if I was just going to build a car specifically for base race, I would simply take like two tens and put them in a sealed box and call it good. You know.
yeah.
Um, if you ever want to play with tuning on your infinite baffle system, hot glue and a nickel are your best friends.
On the
So,
cone.
yep, you just
Well, see, I actually one of the things in my SPL setup I did when I was running Street One in Mecca, which
mm,
was, we were basically using about 500 watts um, to test frequency. I was using wheel weights and
oh,
taping them to the dust cap, and so
Mm.
to change frequency, if we needed frequency to go up or go down, we would play with that, and that made a big difference on score.
oh, it
That
does.
was that was
Yeah,
like a tenth gain by adding a couple ounces of weight to the dust cap on the sub.
yeah. So a nickel, if you don't want to do those kind of weights, a nickel is 5 grams. It's always easy to remember.
So
So.
of course I'll have a problem in my car doing that because all my subs are inverted.
Well, so when I've done that and played with it, I've taped it to or either scotch taped it or hot glued it to the back of the cone. Is what I do.
Okay, I got you.
Um, and obviously, you got to do two at a time because you got to put them across from each other, right?
Right,
Otherwise,
yeah,
you'll get cone wobble. Unless you're running much lower power, then that's not really an issue. Um, but yeah, I've never put them under the dust cap, but that would be a pretty solid way to go about it. I never even thought about doing them on the dust cap.
yeah,
Yeah.
So no, but wheel weights, huh?
yeah.
Whew,
And
that
they work, but
that's
you
a
got to think.
lot of weight, at a
Well,
time.
and we tested everything from half an ounce, all the way up to 4 or 5 ounces just to see what kind of difference it would make.
Hmm.
And it's just one of the things that you don't really think about. And it's like, wait a minute, let's give this, let's try weighting the cone down because
Hmm.
you're already when you're looking at soft parts on the sub, that's one of the things that we took into account when we started building the car 2 years ago. We were looking at weights on, former weights, full weight, spotter weight, you know,
Hmm.
cone, how many is having more weight, more grams of weight better than trying to make the pack as light as you can. And of course stainless steel formers, fiberglass formers, all that comes into play on that. A lot of that depends on what your wattage class is. If you're running
Yes,
low
sir.
power, you need to be as highly efficient as you can, and it does make a difference. I've even the used surrounds from Sundown. I've even sanded them down, and has made a difference.
That's something I've never done is
So yeah,
sand a surround down.
yes,
Um,
it
I
makes a difference.
I do know. I think Jeffrey even tried some before where we put like two surrounds together on a subwoofer. Have
Yeah,
you guys done that, Jeffrey?
No, no, haven't.
Okay, so I tested. I thought you did too, but anyway, so I tested inverted surround glued to a regular forward-facing surround, right? So you basically had that little thing. Uh, the idea when we originally tried it was so if you overexerted the sub at all, it would still have compliance because once you start getting so far up on the surround, it wants to tend to wobble, right?
Yeah.
But the surround facing the other way would help keep it from wobbling.
Basically keeps it all linear.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Hmm.
I didn't want to quite go the stroker way, which will 100% keep your cone linear no matter what.
Yes.
When you have a pole and your cone slides on the pole, it will be linear.
Yes.
Um, and I didn't want to copy them, but back when I was designing and building subs, 2000 to 2005, I mean, stroker was the main thing, right? It
Oh
was.
yeah, that was that and the MTX line. I
Uh,
can't remember what that line was but that was real popular back then as well.
Yeah, I think Jeffrey was running like the BMFs or something then, weren't you? Or were you doing
Early on.
the Atomic?
Um, I've ran the Atomic before, the BMFs, yeah, like around that time, but the Atomics were louder, so
Yeah.
at the
Um,
time, yeah.
yeah, so I will say when back then, it took me forever to release an 18 because in my test, if the eight, if my 18 wasn't louder than the Stroker 18, I wasn't going to release one. And so it took me a long time to get one. Um, and it basically, I was able to create a subwoofer that would handle considerably more power than a stroker, and that was the only way I can make it louder. At low power, those things are like 92 dB efficient, and they're perfectly linear. So you throw gobs of power at them, and the cone doesn't rock. Those things were phenomenal for their time.
What SPL sub is out there now that's 92 dB efficient?
There isn't one.
Yeah, there's not.
Yeah,
That's unheard of.
right. And
But
so,
they'll take 20,000 watts of power though.
yep. I mean, that's a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
That it's you have 100 hit points for your subwoofer. Do you want to use it for power handling? Do you want to use it for efficiency? Because the more efficient you make it, the lower the power handling is going to be. And then weight wise, if you start giving up weight, then your FS is going to go down. If you add weight, your FS goes down. You lose weight, and now your FS goes up. Where's that balance, right?
Yeah.
And
That's
and
why everything back in the 90s was so different because sub efficiency in the 90s, was in
uh,
the was in the 90s.
yeah,
Uh, but but you didn't have 10,000 watt, 5,000 watt amplifiers floating around
True,
either. So
true.
if you had an 1100 watt amplifier, you were like the king amplifier,
That was high power back then, huh?
Yeah. So no, that was cool. So what brands did you start running when you started doing this stuff?
so of course I was I was a poor high school kid with no money and
Uh
I rocking Pioneer head unit with some pile drivers in the back and Jensen amplifiers and acoustic amplifiers with some pile tubes. But I did wind up getting some kicker comps back in the day, and from them I was sold
huh.
for lots of years because that was by far my favorite sub back in the day. Of course, obviously there was a lot of people's,
Yeah.
but for me back in the day when I actually did have a little bit of money, I was a big fan of acoustic amplifiers because
Oh yeah.
they made good power, they were relatively cheap, and they were
Hmm.
dependable.
Yeah.
Um, obviously I've always been a big Alpine fan, but back then all the Alpine stuff was stuff I couldn't afford.
Yeah. So back, I was flea market boy myself. I had a Rockville amplifier with a pair of Pyramid Phase 3 6-inch subs,
Yeah.
and put them in a truck box that went across the whole back of my behind my seat. And I thought it was loud. But then I graduated to Eminem Godfathers
Good
with
subs.
Hyphonics amps.
Oh, you really moved up then.
Uh, this is for entertainment purposes only. I may have
What?
acquired them in
Oh
not so
no.
legal means.
Oh my God.
I may not have been a good boy when I was younger.
Uh-uh.
Yeah.
But yes, I had some M&M Godfather. I had some uh, 10s, 12s, and 15s. Because so
Okay.
I've mentioned this before because you had to hit all the frequency gaps. Because
Yeah.
10s only hit certain notes and 12s only hit, at least that's what I thought when I was 15 years old, right?
Yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
yes, so I had 10s, 12s, and 15s. I had a Hyphonics 100, a 150, and a 200-watt amp. And the 100 was for the 10s, 150 was for the 12s, and the 200 was for the 15s.
Yeah. When I started working at the shop back in the late '90s, we were a kicker dealer. And one thing I will say about Kicker back then is they had a phenomenal employee program. Um,
Oh,
you
Hmm.
I mean, it was hard to beat, what their discount was for dealers for dealer pricing. And
hmm
of course, they were back then. Kicker was, top quality. They made a ton of good stuff. You're always looking forward to what they were going to release for the next
hmm
year. Um, I won't necessarily
Alpine
say that
2
about.
back then.
Well, their discount program wasn't
No,
nowhere near as
no, no.
good.
No, no, no. It was not.
But
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, every year we were always waiting to see for the head units for the next year what they were going to be.
hmm
That was an exciting time back then
It
because
was.
that was the prime time of car audio in the late '90s on what
hmm
everybody was going to release. When CES came around,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and
Alpine booth.
Al
CES, it was
Oh
all
yeah.
about the Alpine booth.
oh yeah, and that's the bad part about now is you just don't have that excitement today that you did back then.
True.
No. Donnie says MTX Blue Thunder. So I went to one of those things. Discount, discount, discount. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
What?
And
Remember
I,
that? Yeah.
yeah, so I bought some MTX Blue Thunders there, $3 for a 12-inch subwoofer at one of those.
Now,
And I got some Kicker um, little square tweeters. They're just like, square mount tweeters, silk domes. And I still have those today. As a matter of fact, they're sitting in my Trans Am waiting for me to turn them on again.
wow. Okay.
And I will tell you, I bought those when I was 16 years old. So I'm 53 almost now. So that was a lot of years ago.
Hey, you got your money's worth out of it.
I did, and it was $3 for the subs. I don't have those anymore, but the tweeters I think were $7 for the pair.
Yeah. That's
So,
too bad when the tweeters cost more than Blue Thunders. Of course, I don't know how legit if that was a licensed MTX,
oh
brand or not.
no, 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 it was not. It was one of those they buy out closeouts and then go and sell them like flea market brand at
Yeah.
convention centers and stuff. So yeah, no, that was cool. Yeah, I really enjoyed that time and the development and stuff. Like you said, it was really cool. Like I said, I did the pile. I had the rock bill. Then I upgraded. There was I know um, Rockford Fosgate used to have a great employee program also.
Okay.
Um, there was a shop in Reno that had the number may be wrong. Yeah, I remember I was 15 years old when I saw this thing, but I think it was 12 tens in a 62 bug,
Right.
and it was just they were just all over the place in all different shapes and just facing in every direction, and it was a very loud car, and he had punch 150s, one for every pair of
Wow.
10-inch subs.
It's
And
pretty amazing on, like you said, you think about some of the big vehicles you saw back, in the '90s, and like
mhm,
you try to remember how loud they were back then,
yeah,
and then you just like, man, you, how do you compare that to cars of now? Because they weren't doing, 60s and 70s back then. They were probably doing like
Right.
48 or 50, but it
yep.
sounded amazing back then.
Yeah. So there used to be a dB meter when you go to a shop in Reno. They had a dB meter and they just hung it over your mirror. And
Okay.
I'm
Hmm.
guessing it was a linear X. It was a stick mic, right?
Probably.
And I remember my first car. It was loud as hell. and I was doing 136 on that stick meter. Uh, Donnie Collar says, hot pink VW bug. I will say my Trans Am had pink dingleberries hanging from the ceiling,
Oh my gosh.
and it had hot pink seats. The seats were black or covered in
Wow.
black fur with a hot pink stripe down the middle of them.
Boy, weren't you set up?
I was. I used to go skiing in my hot pink glasses. You know,
Just beating the women off with a stick.
I was with my wife by then.
Oh, okay.
Still, yeah, I've been with my wife since I was late 16, almost 17.
Wow. Yeah,
So,
that's unheard of now. So yeah, that's
yeah,
big congratulations on that.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And then we got married as soon as she turned 18. So, her birthday is November 4th, and so we got married on December 4th. So she had been 18 for 1 month when we got married. So she was like, "I got to get out of my house." I was like, "I'll take care of
Oh
you, baby.
no.
Come with me. I'll work my construction job. I make $7 an hour. We're gonna be living fat."
Yeah, we're gonna we we eating high on the hog too.
That's right. I was like, "Just wait till I make $10 an hour. We'll be living. Oh, we're gonna be able to buy a house." And yeah,
Big
that was
dreams.
a lot of years ago.
Yeah.
But no, that's like I said, those are cool times. I mean, I love the old speakers. Jeffrey, you remember your first one you bought?
Um, bought?
Yes.
Well, I think the first ones I was using pretty much fell in line with your story. But they were the Pioneer IMPPs.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I
Yeah.
still don't know exactly what the IMPP injection something poly something, but I don't know what that means. But they're probably like the loudest back then. And I
Yeah.
recall
Well,
that was my first speaker.
weren't they supposed to be an IB setup sub? Is that right?
Oh,
Didn't they
Yeah,
have
that's
something to
why
do
they
with
were the flat. You had the flat ones, right?
I don't
Oh,
think they
you
were
didn't have
flat.
the
No,
flat ones?
no.
Because that's what I believe Alma Gates had the flat IMPPs.
Hmm.
And they were designed. And you can do an ISO. You don't have to do clamshell. You can do, uh, coned motor. That's another
right.
way to do it.
Oh, interesting.
Um,
Yeah.
and it gives you a little different response curve because like you can create a lower FS when you do it that way versus the clamshell. So I mean, remember, Chris, this has been a minute since I've read through all this and did this work, but the clamshell increases power handling but keeps the sound almost the same.
Yeah, because one of the concerns I had with mine, with the four inverted behind the seat, is what was going to be my cone control because they
Hmm.
weren't going to be in the enclosure,
Right.
and I was like, well, I think once you throw them out of phase, the other four should take care of that. That was the big question mark I had for mine is what's going to be my cone control.
Yeah.
But it wound up working out like I had thought it was going to. But because you've got to you've something that's got to be there. Of course, obviously that's why you have an enclosure to help do that.
Hmm.
But yeah, that of course, it's one of those things. I just woke up one night. Hey, I think this will work. Let's try it and see.
I built a lot of those. Donnie says Chuck Fisher built that VW bug. Oh, that'd be cool. I mean, like I said, I didn't know who built it. I was young. I do remember I went to the stereo shop, and the guy who ran it now owns that stereo shop, or the guy who was an installer then now owns that company that stereo shop is. It's called Nevada Auto Sound. Or no, no, no. Yeah, or Wild West Auto Sound.
All
Um,
right.
and he owns it, I believe now. And I went to the guy. I'm like, "Hey, man, can you draw me up a box? I'll build it. I just need to know a box design. If you just design it, I'll build it." It's like, "Yeah, I'll do it for $150." And dude, I'm a 15-year-old kid. Where am I going to get $150 from?
Can I
So
make can I make payments on that?
But I will say, I my first real purchase of anything car audio was a Punch 150, and I paid $758 for it.
So my first big end purchase, I guess you could say I got was um, probably in 1998, 97, 98, Alpine 7930 with a G320 EQ.
Okay. Uh, uh,
Uh,
you got to figure this Punch 150 I bought though was I bought it in 90 or 89. So it,
that was my
700.
first. That was my first high end purchase because the deck was
Yeah,
$500 and the
Head unit.
EQ was $550.
yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I stuck that Punch 150 in a car with a Craco, uh, with a 5 band EQ booster
Oh yeah, that's a good matchup.
on my TS 6900s.
Oh my gosh.
You know those ones, I take it. So I think they were the 6996s or something like that. The 6x9s, three ways.
Hey, if you had an EQ booster
Yeah,
on some 3 or 4-way 6x9s in the back deck, you were pig pimping.
I was, even though it
Yeah,
was Craco. So
that didn't matter. That didn't
no, it
matter.
didn't.
No,
So, but anyway,
and because the EQ had to have dancing lights on it, that
yep,
was a must. Yep.
yep. Well, mine was before dancing lights. It actually had the levers on the face of the deck.
Okay.
So it was a deck. It was a 30-watt amp EQ with booster.
And I guarantee it probably wasn't 30 watts either.
Oh hell no. All right, Jeffrey. It seems like we've hit our hour. Why don't you hit Chris with the question again?
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's nice that we could re-ask, the same question that just to see if it's changed, you know. Um, but you've seen the show several times. We asked the question. I think we've asked you that same question, but
Oh yeah.
we'd like to know what is your definition of a bass head? Has it changed? It stayed the same?
It stayed most of the same, but let's just say there's probably a different variation. So,
Ah, okay.
if you're a dedicated bass head, no matter what kind of system you have, you're going to be bass heavy. I mean, you're
Mm,
before you install anything else or make any other upgrades to the system, amp and subs are your first thing you're putting in, no matter what. And then you build from there. And that goes for car, it goes for home, no matter what. Your bottom end is what you're more concerned about over anything else in the system.
yes.
Oh, you
Yes.
mean before you put in A pillars and tweeters and stuff,
Yes, absolutely.
or even
Yeah.
a aftermarket deck? That's way secondary to a set of subs.
Yeah, I got to hear you from 4 blocks away first before anything else.
Yeah, my father-in-law used to complain about me. So
Oh yeah.
he's like,
Uh-oh.
I know when he's coming, like 5 minutes before he gets here.
Yep, I've heard that several times too over the years.
Yeah. So, all right, Jeffrey, you got anything to finish us off with here?
No, no, nothing. Just I hope everyone's enjoying. We're now in December. You know, Christmas right around the corner. Just hope everybody's enjoying themselves, their family, and just their time. You know how time, man, I didn't even know December 1st came around and I was like, wait a second, it's December 1st already? It's gonna be Christmas time, and just by the time it'll be here. So
Yeah.
enjoy these times.
Yeah. And for the rest of us living in the cold weather, other than where Jeffrey's at, uh,
Exactly. That's like one indicator for me. Okay, it's getting cold. All right, it's coming closer to Christmas, but it hasn't been cold. So
yeah, it's not getting cold. But anyway, I personally would just like to wish my wife happy anniversary again.
Mm.
You know, 33 years. That's married. and then we were together for we were over 2 years prior to that together. So,
Hmm.
like I said, we've been together for a minute or two since we were youngins. We definitely have grown older together and intend to grow old together. So,
Ah,
um, but yeah, it's a happy anniversary to my wife again. But anyway, hey, thanks for coming on, Chris, talking about this stuff. It's always cool to have just a sit down and hang out session,
oh
you know?
yeah.
Absolutely. I enjoy coming on here and appreciate the opportunity.
So, but anyway, hey guys, we'll see you again next week. Next week is the 11th and then the 18th. So we'll be on the next 2 weeks, and then we'll miss Christmas because Christmas is on Thursday. So we'll be on the next 2 weeks. We'll see you guys again next week, 6:30 California time. Still doesn't matter. The only time that does matter. And we'll see you guys next week on This Week in Car Audio. Peace. We out.